Taurus, how you doing, guys? So I've tried to just gather my thoughts with what it is that they're trying to say to me. Okay, and I've wrote just a couple of things down to channel for you guys at the beginning, but this is for your April tarot reading and also channeled messages. Okay, and sometimes I self-doubt myself because I get these messages in and I feel like I'm looking as if I'm crazy trying to figure out what that is before they fully come into development. Okay, because they're saying like something has to develop, like it's developing. Because I pick up like Arrested Development, okay, which was a band, right? But developing, that something has to naturally take its course, because that was a big message that they said straight away to me was let it naturally take its course, okay? And I think that I see this screening test for something because I see these little pots. You know, back at school, we used to have these science pots, okay? And people used to like drip stuff into there and then see and put it under a microscope. Okay, now some of that could be a lot of things that I'm channeling at the moment to do with the coronavirus, but a lot of you, I think that this is a scare of something that you know about. That is, there's going to be a screening test to do with an operation of something that you may have to go for, okay? But I really don't want to put the jeepers up people, because this really is only if you know these, but I'm picking up these messages for people that it's something to do with like screening test, and there's an operation that somebody may be needing or wanting at this time, and they know, but what the spirit is saying is that it will only ever naturally take its course, okay? And that in order to relax a little, because worrying and stressing about it will not help you, and that the best thing that you can do is to naturally take its course, okay? There is some kind of like screening test that they're saying that someone's going for, like a pregnancy. This would obviously be for the women, right? That someone is yeah, so I'm going really cold now. So someone is possibly worried, okay, that they may not be able to get pregnant, and that because they're not sure, that they're having to go for some kind of like screening test, okay, to do with like sperm count or something of the male, okay. But they're saying that it's something to do with the women. That's what they're saying, and it's something about let things naturally take its course, okay? Because I think that there's a certain amount of like worry and stress that's really not helping someone out there to do with maybe this pregnancy thing, okay? Now that could be for some people out there that it's really just to do with like a coil or a pill or something like that, okay? But they're definitely saying something to me like screening, because that was one thing that I wrote down was screening. Okay, now through screening, I also heard screaming, that there was something to do with like labour or labouring, because through labour I picked up fire drill. That's what I wrote down, fire drill, and I can hear this like tinnitus in my vision. Is like this tinnitus feeling, like it's a drill, like there's something that's going. Some of you, it's like a physical drill, like a drill sergeant or someone that's really saying something. No, we must do this, okay? But they're saying that it's something to do with like a fire drill or something that may happen through April for you, that's to do with like a fire drill, okay? Now, because I'm seeing these people queued up, like, my hearing turns into a vision, okay? If people don't know me, I'm not crazy. But I can see these people like standing up, okay, and like lined up, a bit like a fire drill kind of thing. But for some of it, I'm seeing as it like this screening test that it could well be coming through because of what's happening with the coronavirus, and I'm struggling not to connect with those energies for a lot of people, because I'm seeing people queuing up in order for tests, okay? But one of the things that first came through for you guys was miles apart, okay? Miles apart. Like, on a back burner of those important messages, family messages that are kind of coming through for you guys, because I kind of sometimes connect with different messages. My process is strange, sorry. But family-wise, there's something to do with like distancing oneself, but through that I picked up that there's going to be some distance between you and family members, because some of you are physically like have this like something on the back burner that you know that's there, that's inevitable, that it's happened because you took that step, okay? Because there's something about first steps and that to do with children. No, we're not going to go on that one. But we've took the first step, okay, and because we've took that step, it's now coming closer to like jury, the same jury, okay. Sorry, this is where I connect with like loads of spirits and they dump it all on me, right? But some of you it's jury service, okay? Some of you it's like being called upon for, like, if you were old wartime heroes and stuff like that, that you might be called upon for service in order to help people, like because of this coronavirus, that some of you could be called upon for duty if you're someone that's watching it, or you know grandparents or parents that used to be in the army and things like that, okay? They might be called upon in order to go back to service in order to set up these pods things, because I'm picking up like pods, okay? Sorry, through that one I've also lost some of my vision. But through that I can see these people like screening and lining up and being screened, like, because for some of you I'm picking up like it's a labour thing, okay, and it's like screaming, like someone is like in labour and they're screaming, but they're also being screened for something, like I need to be screened, like it's a bit like okay, some of you it's the men and the women, okay, but we're going to look at it as like I need to go for a constant checkup to be screened for something, okay, which women, a lot of men probably don't, but a lot of women do, like for breast cancer and all that kind of thing when they go to be screened, okay, because I'm picking up like I need to keep going back in order to be screened for something, okay. So those kind of messages are there, but I'm going to kick back a little bit on the distancing yourself. I think that's kind of coming through for a lot of you to do with like this back burner type sort of thing that's there that you know is inevitable, that's going to happen, okay, and that the plan is now coming more to close to due date. Some of you that's pregnancy, some of that's meaning like it's now here and that we're now going to be moving, if that's what you are doing, and that the distancing, and now the distancing is really going to be down to like a choice that you're going to have to make between where it is that you want to move to and the family members that may be coming with or without you, okay. And because of that, I think that this test now is going to be put upon you, that you're going to make this move, but someone is still having to hold back because of the screening test. That a lot of this organisation is to do with, in your head, is more than likely going to be a lot of choices that you're going to come up with because of certain like hospitals and doctors that someone has all of their medical history, because they're saying like medical history, and that because of my medical history I don't know if it's possible that I can actually go yet. That's just what they just said right now, is that because of my medical history I don't know if I'm physically going to be able to do that, okay. So some of you, it may be because you are moving, but you're gonna get these messages from the doctor to say that I'm not sure if we can give you all of that stuff straight away. Some of you, you're just going through this and you're trying to organise all of that now for later when you do move. But they definitely said something like, I don't know if I'm physically going to be able to do that, okay. Now that might be something that you're saying because of an ailment that you may have, that if you're asked to do something by them, by your boss or by someone, you might say and decline that. I'm also picking up the name Clive, okay, but you also might decline that because you might say I'm not actually able to do that because there's some kind of like disablement, okay. Some of you might be looking into disablement package, like that you might have some time off work and that you could be looking for what you can get money for. If this is something to do with the coronavirus, I think that there's a package that the government is more than likely going to come up with that you might be able to get some money from if you are struggling in certain ways, and that you could be looking for a package to do with that you're physically not able to work because of some kind of ailment that you might have, and that you might be trying to think of a way that you can use the ailment. I'm not saying you're doing it purposely, I'm just saying you might be able to, that you could be using, because it's something to do with like disability allowance or disabling something. Okay, you could work for disabled children or something to do with like disability allowance, okay, and that you might be allowed certain amounts of money because of disability allowance, because there might be something that you're physically not able to do that a boss might be asking you to do, and because they're asking you, you might be able to claim disability allowance for certain things. So it could be something that you're looking into. Okay, see, the messages are kind of coming through now. Because I picked up, distancing, and now when I'm looking at it, my words are jumbled up and they're turning into disabling, okay? It's something about abling and disabling, okay? Abel, Cain and Abel, right? So, yeah, it's going down that road of Cain and Abel, right? 2 became 4, and 2 became 3, and then 3 became 4. Cain killed Abel, if you know religion, right? But something about disabling, so like alarms. I'm picking up like alarms being disabled. Like we're going to have to shut off all of the alarms for it to be disabled. Disabled alarm disable. Sorry. Because I keep hearing this sound, and what was once a drill, now it's like this alarm, and it's a disabling alarm. Like, you might even do this as a job to do with like keys and like labels. Disable alarm. I'm just going to stick with that one, okay? Because I'm also hearing like labels of stuff like being put, ticket items being put on things for travels and journeys. But I'm also picking up the labour through that as well for some of you. They're on a different timeline. This is why it gets confusing, because there's so many different Tauruses, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus, that are all on the same. I talk to people's spirits, okay? As I'm getting frustrated with everybody trying to explain how it works with me. But I'm picking up like this disabling, okay, feeling for you guys. Oh, sorry, and also the names, if I didn't say that I come up with, was Marshall. Some of you are looking into like names for like children, okay, or these can be like past relatives or something, but I picked up Marshall and I picked up Martin, okay, more like, not Morgana, but Martin, something to do with like Martin. They're also saying a disease of Martin's disease. What's that one? Martin's. Parkinson's. I don't know if it would be Parkinson's, but I heard Martinson's disease. So is that? I don't know if that is Martinson's. Martin Street. Some of you could be moving like to a place called St. Martin, or in the mountains, because I picked up Poland, right? Like somewhere in the mountains. Okay, I could do that forever, because one message would lead on to another, and to another, and to another. Okay, so we're going to look into your reading for April, Taurus. How you doing? So Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus for April. They're also saying the name April. They are literally saying the name April, because through April I picked up drill and something like that. Madril, or Vadril, a name that has like drill in it. Okay, Vadril. Oh, okay, that's a woman's thing. Okay, my girlfriend's now laughing. So, okay, we're going to leave that one there. Okay. So let's see, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising and Venus. I think it's something to do with like a screening test. Okay, sorry if I'm ignorant or I'm laughing through that one, but something to do with a screening test for somebody. Okay, because they're saying that something could be viral. Okay, and it might have something to do with what is that women, majority of the men actually don't. A lot of the women do, when they go for a test for I really forget what that's called. It's very easily catchable by men and women, because it stops pregnancy. The one that stops pregnancy, like if you have that, okay, and everybody's supposed to get screened for that all of the time, and if you have it but you don't have a test and you have children, it can affect the children and stuff like that, and it can also stop pregnancy. It's not like a major thing, it's just like a minor, so it's just minor.
It's not thrush.
No. I forget. People, anybody, please let me know, just so I'm like, I only come across as a little ignorant because I can't remember the name of it. Let's see. Taurus, something rising in Venus for April. Anyway, that's your reading. 15:15 on the clock, Taurus, as I looked up. 6 and 6. Family. 6 of Cups. I am feeling the 6 of Cups. It's a lot to do with family, Taurus. Okay? Oh, wouldn't that be strange if there was a 6 of Cups? Libra. A lot of decisions that have to be made. So you've got the 2 of Swords, okay? Crossing paths, being crossed. Someone is very cross also that your boss could well be a Libra, okay? And it seems like they're very cross because they don't know which direction that everybody's going. It's like, well, we don't know where we're going or what we're doing, and we can't make this decision yet. It physically can't be broken. They're saying something like, well, it physically can't be broken. It's not possible. There's some kind of like belief of someone that it's like, well, you physically can't break me. So it's like that you're trying to like try to break something. It's like, be careful of breaking something, Taurus, because it feels like Breaking Bad, like the TV show, right? Breaking Bad. Like, I'm going to break something in a moment because I'm furious. It's something to do with like, well, I'm furious, so I don't want to break something, because there's some kind of like caution, like a test of like driving or something like that, and it feels like I have to take caution, okay, or precautions. I have to take precautions. Sorry. Here we go. There's something to do with like, well, I have to now take precautions because we have this huge decision to make, and some of you it is like a protection thing, that you are now having to protect yourself against someone because you know that there are certain procedures that are now going to go ahead. They're also saying like a surgical procedure, like there would be a procedure that's going to happen for someone to go under like general anaesthetic. That's just what they said. Okay, that in order for me to do that, I'm going to have to take precautions. So what's in my mind of the 2 of Swords is the fact that I've got a path and a choice to make of, do I want to continue smoking? Do I want to look after my health? All that kind of thing. They are decisions I think that a lot of you may be facing, or someone that you know, is that I have these important situations to think of now of my health because of some kind of like surgical procedure, okay? Because I am picking up that there is some kind of like regimented feeling around your boss that could be asking you to do quite a lot of things. I really do apologise about my dog. It will go ballistic for quite a little while. But your boss could be asking you to do a lot of stuff, and you are torn between doing like loads of different things for someone, and you are travelling, okay, but in order to make up those decisions of what to do, it's causing a lot of conflict probably between what you're being asked to do, okay? Let's see. Taurus. But we will take this down to a non-channeled message reading as well, Taurus. Okay, so yeah, for work, you see, torn between lovers and a rose between a thorn. I've got so much work to do now that I've just been lumbered with all this. This is like a lumberjack. They're also saying Jack, the name Jack. Okay, Jackie, or Jacqueline, or Jack. But Jack, oh, they keep saying Jack, 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 Jack. Some of you, it's like a wheel brace, and it's to do with like jacking something, right? So be careful if you own a travelling company and someone doesn't try to jack your car, right? But something to do with like my back also, like my back is Jack, so Jack has got my back up. Something to do with that. Someone called Jack, right, or Jackie or something, has got someone's back up, okay, because they can't make up their mind. They can't make their choice. They could have their name could be Jack or Jackie, and they could have Libra in their chart. Okay, just try being a psychic medium and giving these messages to people that don't want to hear that. Right? Because it's like, well, I need to give you this news, but I don't know how to tell you because I don't know how you're going to react and how you're going to respond. It's something like, well, will you do manual work? And can you do manual lifting? It's like, well, I can't because I have to look after my back. So I don't know if I can physically do that. Okay, so it's really also annoying your partner because there's quite a lot to do, and it's kind of like, well, I'll do it. And it's like, no, I can't do that because I've got a bad back. Right? Jack is back with a bad back. Something like that, man. Right? But I've got a bad back and I can't physically do that. I can't lift all of this stuff, and I can't lift you. It's something to do with like, well, I can't physically lift you. Okay, something like that. I think someone's going to ask you and say, "For art thou?" And it's like, "Can you give me a hand off of this big truck thing that I can see?" And there's kind of like, "Well, hold on a minute, I'll take off my jacket and put it over a puddle, but I can't lift you down." It's something like that, right? Because it feels like hand-me-downs. Hand-me-downs, okay. Some of you are going through this like hand-me-down thing where past relatives or past people that you know and children have had children, and then it's like, "Well, do you want me to give you this hand-me-down?" It's like, you know, we've worked very hard for all of this stuff and we don't really want to give it up and sell it, so we'll give it to you as a hand-me-down. That's what they're saying. I mean, can anybody pick that up from the Two of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles? But it's something to do with like hand-me-down, right? Don't put me down. There's something like someone gets blamed or asked to do a lot, and it's like, "Don't put me down," because it feels like put me down, pick me up, put me down, pick me down. It's like, I'm picking up this as a child. Someone else is like, "Pick me up, pick me down, pick me up, put me down, pick me up, put me down." It's like, will you put them down? It's like, will you put them down? It's like, "Well, no, I want picking up." It's like, oh, listen. Someone travels quite a lot. You're probably going to come up with a Chariot, maybe Cancer, or a life path number 7 or something like that. But it's like, "Will you pick me up?" And it's like, "Oh, well, I can pick you up, but I really don't know when I can pick you up because I'm at work." It's like, "Well, I can pick you up after work, but I can't pick you up during work." It's some kind of like jury, they're also saying like jury service. These are people that are going to take minutes down and they're going to write it down to keep an eye on it. Okay, because there's someone who's just taking notes. It's like, "Well, I'm just keeping my eye on you just to make sure that you pull your own weight." It's like, "Well, look, I'm doing all of the weight. Where's your half?" And it's like, "Well, my half is really just like not really doing much." And it's like, "Well, I'm doing all of these are separating people now, okay, separating energies." Someone out there does a lot of manual work and they do a lot of manual labour and they're asked a lot and they're saying, "Well, listen, I'm not Sir Lancelot, okay, I can do certain amounts of work, but will you please put some effort or time into the relationship?" And it's like, "Well, I can't, I'm at work." But at work, I also suffer from this with someone that's around me at work that doesn't pull their weight. Right, Taurus? Are you on that one? It's a bit like, right, I'm at work and I'm doing loads of stuff and I'm busy and I've got a bad back but I don't complain, I just get on with it. Okay? But there's someone around you that you work with that is not doing all of that, that's really annoying you, that you're saying, "I'm putting in all of the work, where's your half?" Right? That's pretty much what a lot of you are more likely saying. Where's your half? Because it's like, well, my share is here, but where's your share? Okay, I'm not Sonny and share. Okay, so where's your share? It's like, well, some of you are looking into stocks and bonds and shares and all that kind of stuff, right? But it's like, well, where's your share? It's like, well, my share is there because I prove it by the amount of work that I do. So where's my share of the takings? Because there's something like that you might fear that someone's taking some of your takings. Like you earn certain amount of money, but someone's taking some stuff that you have. It's like, where's all the takings gone? It's like, well, they're there because I've put all the work in. So my half is there, but where is your half? Because there's some kind of like discrepancy that either is one going to court or it's going over somebody through this too that you talk to about this too. Okay, hope you're not confused, but you're talking more than likely to someone to say, "Look, let's just have a minute. They're not pulling their weight," and it could be with your boss. They're not pulling their weight. And it's like, well, you know, you're putting in the amount of work. So where's the work? Where's the money from my boss physically that can give me this amount of like security? Because there's some kind of like someone works for security for like bells and whistles, and we're going into a wedding now, okay, wedding planner. But bells and whistles and like security alarms and codes and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, well, we're going to have to lock all of this down. Some of you do it as a job and it's coming through that because it's like we need to lock this up. It's something about being locked up or something as well. Okay, Taurus, something like Venus for April. Oh dear, Taurus, somebody doesn't get on with their parent. Someone is going through parenting skills. Okay? The moon is Mother Earth, okay? So please, as mothers, please keep an open mind because these can be in-depth readings. The moon is the mother, okay, Mother Earth. It gave birth and life to oxygen of the earth, to the coral reefs that actually burst, that give oxygen, that started to produce trees and grass that now everybody chops down and progresses money, spend more trees. So the moon always represents a mother to me, okay? Now, that was years ago when I used to do documentaries about the Earth. but, because they're saying something about documents and documentary. Like, it's elementary, but it's also documentary. So something has to be documented, okay? And I'm taking docs, like the docs. Also, they're saying Goldilocks and the Three Bears for some reason, right? But it's something to do with the mum, okay? Now, the mum is worried about decisions that she has to do and that she has to do for her own life, okay? But someone is working really hard as a mum, that they do everything to be a mum, okay? They work hard at it very much. They do all the cooking, the cleaning, the shopping, and all that sort of stuff, right? So you've then come up against temperance, which is like, well, someone has a high temperature and a high fever, okay? This is, sorry, I didn't even know what the cards were there. Fever. It's like night fever. Okay, a high fever. This is a low fever, but high fever. High fever, low fever. High fever, live. What? Live fever. Livy. Livy. Someone called Livy. Oh, see, I'm coming up with people I know. Livy. Faith. But Livy. Something to do with like liver, also a liver function disease. They're saying a liver function test, so that someone might have to go for a liver function test where they analyse parts of the liver in order to make sure that someone can go for surgery. So please be careful on smoking or anything that's hot. Okay, hot food. Also, they're saying something about hot food. Where on earth my spirits give me these messages, I don't. Hot fever, low fever, hot fever, low fever. Okay, that's what they're saying. This is symptomatic symptoms. Someone is going through like symptoms, okay? But they're definitely saying to do with like a liver function test. Now, it doesn't have to be you. It can be someone that you know, okay? But someone is, they act out from a low vibration. You see, I know that you've got temperance here, and it doesn't by no means mean a Sagittarius sun sign. It can be anywhere in anybody's chart, okay? But what it's telling me is that someone has this sporadic behaviour pattern of being higher than mightier than life, and then all of a sudden act out from a low vibration. That a lot of you can be going through narcissism and control with somebody, because this is an announcement that someone likes to announce quite abruptly bad news, and this is why this tells me that someone goes through narcissism control, okay? Narcissism control is somebody that likes to announce things very quickly about bad news that could be there. Also good news and bad news, good news, bad news, good news, bad news. They could well have Libra placed within their chart, okay? If you're a cross-watcher Libra, please don't get cross with me. I'm not saying it's you, okay? But there's a high fever, low fever of narcissism and control here through how someone acts from when they don't get what they want, okay? So if I'm not getting this, it's like, well, I just need to announce that everybody should be worried about this certain thing. Okay, now this is only for the people that are going through something very controlling with someone, because there's an announcement of like, well, this is, I just need to announce and tell everybody about all of this bad news. Okay, now if that's a parenting thing that you have with somebody that likes to make themselves announced by something, okay, then that's a situation that you could well be going through with a mother or father or a child even, okay? So there's a lot to do with that, because there's a lot to be seen through the moon. There's a lot to be seen through not being able to deface your parents, and also not being able to make a decision of like whether you want them in your life fully or forever or for not. And generally when you go through family karma, that is a hell of a lot more difficult than what it is to go through a karmic love situation with someone. When you're in that with a parenting situation, you're going through it, okay? So I'm with you, but there's a lot to do with that someone acts from a very low vibration. They like to announce themselves about good news and bad news. And it's confusing for someone that they can't engage in that energy. So it makes them feel pushed out, separated. The other person feels that energetically, and they use that as a low vibration to do this for and against, and for and against, and for and against, okay? So, I mean, Five of Cups, people will say, oh, someone can't get over someone. It's not, you know, when you're going through karma, you can't get over someone. You know, you can't until it's physically time. Divine time and how the universe is working with everything. If you look at the universe as like a clock wheel and a ticking time bomb, okay, that's where numbers all play a part of what happens now by being man-made viruses. It's just like Dark Night of the Soul. A man-made virus is obviously man-made because it didn't come from outer space. There isn't an alien that suddenly come up with any kind of virus that presented it to the Earth. Okay, so my theory of a lot of this sort of stuff is kind of like my own, really, of something that I wanted to say about. But within divine time, it all happens within astrology, and it all happens with the Great Purge. Okay, that's the unfortunate reasoning of loss. It's just soul. Okay, it's just time of certain things to learn to let go of. Okay, so within divine time, metaphysics, it can't be predicted. It can't. And your soul is something that doesn't end and it doesn't begin. It just remains the same. But it remains different through the timeline that you're presented with as your number of life expectancy. Okay, through that, your soul will elevate to a stage where you don't feel things so much anymore. And then when you meet someone else, that's why you become masculine, because the feminines will then think, well, you don't have any thoughts or feelings or any consideration for me. Well, I used to years ago, but I've turned differently now, because you've learnt so much through your soul to teach another the opposite direction of that. That's why you meet younger and older souls, in order for one to teach another about things that they need to learn from one, blocking off energy, so another has this attachment, detachment of what you get through the Five of Cups. Okay, that's the reason of why life happens. Okay, so I know that was a little bit in depth for you guys, 31 on the clock, and that we didn't really go too much into like, well, someone can't get over someone else, you know. But generally, you've got some situations that are definitely coming up around family. Around love, it's difficult in order to engage in someone's energy fully, okay, by detaching yourself from it. It's not a bad thing. It's just that you're learning about attachments and detachments of energy. If you're a very strong-willed person, then the other person is learning a lot more of that. But trust me, if you are that person that is going through that, you'll become a lot stronger. Trust me, in the end, it will benefit you more of what the lessons are. You don't need to know what the lessons are. You will just feel differently. Okay, that's the lesson. The feelings change differently about oneself. Okay, you don't need to know what they mean. You'll know what they mean personally when you took on personal growth. Okay, so we'll go on with the rest of your reading. We'll turn it into more of a different kind of like reading for you guys. If you want to join Patreon, it's literally $5. You have access to everything. We go over the rest of the cards and then we clarify them and probably look into thoughts and feelings and that kind of stuff. But I might do that during the weeklies, okay? But you'll still have access to weeklies if you join Patreon, $5. You have access to monthlies, weeklies, all that kind of stuff. You can find it in the Show More section below for Patreon. You can also reach out for a personal reading or Skype call, okay? Or any multimedia piece of stuff that I own. You can also join if you like. But I really would appreciate a like, share, comment, all that kind of stuff. Please don't skip the like bit. It really does help me out. And also to hear from you guys to make sure that everything's okay through the virus and the crazy times that are going on at the moment. Okay? All right, Taurus, thanks very much. Carry on with the reading. See you soon.